Hello, this is JD 2.0 from DeviantArt or Bloom Walk from YouTube. I asked around about tutorials on DeviantArt, see who wants me to do what or whatever, and it came most popular that I would do a basic anatomy and paw and leg tutorial kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I'm going to show you today. Right then. I am currently working with GIMP because I do not have Photoshop despite it being on a taskbar. So I'm going to go to File, New, and just for the tutorial I'm going to do about 1000 pixels. But if I was working on an actual picture, normally I start it off between about 1000 to 2500 pixels. But then I just make it bigger and smaller depending on the stuff I've got in it or whatever. I always make it transparent because it's a pain in the ass to do otherwise, so it's not much fun to behave himself. And normally I fill it anyway so I can see, but to make it I make it transparent because then when you get rid of it, like when you get rid of the colour in it, it'll be transparent, it won't just be the colour that you start with or whatever. That's really badly explained. But anyway, I'm going to create a new layer, Shift Control N. I'll keep it as that actually. Normally I name them because I'm organised like that, but I'm not bothered. I'm going to warn you now, this may lag. I say that because my tablet lags anyways, not only with this kind of program, but it lags anyways. So. Okay then, I'm going to start off by, well, by basically drawing the wall. Normally I start with the head. See what I mean? See? Look at that. Start off with a circle for the head. And I start with like rib cage. It's roughly about that big-ish. Like that. And then neck will start probably about here. And I bring it to stop about there, about the middle of the rib cage. And it will curve, it won't be straight like that. It will curve round. And then the bottom bit will kind of curve underneath. And like that. Because we don't tend to go like that, because it'll be fluffy and you kind of bag a little bit. So then you've got forehead, around the head off, because the head kind of follows the neck, kind of. And the muzzle, it's about the same slope as the top of the head, so it will be a bit steeper. And that's when you obviously curve it round and do that. And then I draw the back. I either draw the back at this point or I draw the front leg. You've got back which just goes straight like that. Shoulders will start from here and go like that and down, so you get the position of the elbow bit, from the elbow comes like that. You bring this down and then you have like the toe. Bring that bit down, take it around. The front part of the leg goes around like that. I'm really bad at explaining stuff. So the elbow tends to hang like just below the belly, tend to the leg set. The elbow will never be like up here, and it will never be like down here. It will always be kind of this region. Obviously varies sitting, but in this kind of position it's kind of pretty much where it would be. The nose, tip lawyer, this part of the nose is normally in line with the eye. The eye will start like there. So like teared up part of the eye will line up with that bit. And then the corner of the eye will line up with the ear. That's how I draw my face. But obviously this is not anatomically correct to the size of the eye because the brush took it. But just the concept of learning position. And then the ear will kind of curve around and meet with the eyes. Kind of thing, you know what I mean? All kind of joins up. So then I've got the leg there. And then normally I'll draw a circle to represent the foot, or leg. And then I'll flesh that bit out. The back legs, a lot of people have trouble with back legs, and to be honest, it took me ages to learn it when I first started. But basically, it goes forward, back, and then forward again. Right? So it will go forward, and it will stop about the same height as the elbow. And then it will go back, and then it will go forward again. A lot of times when I'm drawing, it is a lot of trial and error. One of the reasons why I don't do live streams very much is because it's that much trial and error. I feel bad making you guys watch a lot of starting and redoing, but this is just basically so you get the idea of how the leg bends and shit. Put that up there. There are a load of tutorials on DeviantArt for this, but I always found watching it is a lot better to learn rather than having to kind of look at them, because looking's fine, but you never learn how to, you never really know where everything joins up, if that makes sense. This part of the heel, this is with the, imagine it like your own leg, right? These are your toes, up to your foot bit is the toes, and then that is your heel. So all this bit would be the flat part of your foot, right? So then you have the ankle there, because you know how you've got like ankle on your own foot, that's kind of where that bone would stick out, you know what I mean? Same kind of bit with this, because that's your wrist joint there. And then your tail will come out here, right at the point where that joins in. But as I was saying, this part of the heel is about halfway from the ground. So imagine your ground is like, it may not be level because it's really, really rough and really, really fast. It's not too bad. Imagine that's your ground. It will come up halfway between stomach and ground, pretty much. Using halfway. You never, it drives me mad, it drives me ratchet whenever I see this, but you'll never ever see, like the stomach, leg, heel will never be here. You'll never see that, because that is wrong. Because that is like giving the joints, but that bit's tiny. Look how tiny that bone bit is there. That's like saying your leg, bottom bit of your leg, that is really short. Really, it's not. I'm going to redo this, and I'm going to show you guys more about paws and stuff now, because I think that was one of the main ones I wanted to look at, paws. Okay, took me a while to master this one. Not I wouldn't say master it actually, to get better. Basically, you've got 4 toes in a paw, and at the top of the paw it curves around like that, a bit of a triangle shape, and it'll curve like that, and that bit will curve, and the toe from the front view, I did the nail first actually, but it goes inwards and curves around a bit. That's really bad. The toe will curve that way inwards. Bear in mind that's this side toe, the middle toe to this side. But the paw pad will do that at this bit. It won't be like that. It will curve around. And then your toe next to this, the smaller one, will set back a bit. And obviously it will be smaller. It will still curve at the top, but further back because on the foot is further back. And this will just be forward. And then it will curve. As I say, wolves have 4 toes, not like 3. That drives me mad. We see them with 3. Granted, it's easier to draw them with 3, but it's more cartoony. So if you're going for more of a realistic approach, you should be drawing 4 and the do claw really, because that is just correct. I learnt all this from what I do. Normally, paws are, and then you obviously this bit would curve inwards like that, and that would curve inwards. It would curve a bit because it would go back. As it goes back, it would curve. And then here's your tendons going like that. But yeah, if you look at wolf's paw from the side, they're generally drawn and deviant by artists. Like they kind of curve the toe, dip the toe down, kind of thing, and then you've got the toe going out like that, and it goes round. It's basically the toe, right? But if you actually look at paws, a lot of times they are actually rectangle. I think they only curve that just so they give it like a more realistic look, because if you just do that, it doesn't look too good. You know what I mean? It looks better that way, so they make it look more cartoony by trying to make it look more realistic. But it does look realistic the way they do. Front view, basically. Front paws are generally bigger than back paws, only slightly. I think it's to do with grip and running or something like that, but a lot of the time back paws are smaller. I was doing photos the other day and I noticed it, so I just got a point out to you guys. The do claw or paw thing will be about there-ish. That is just the toe though, that wouldn't be the pad, because the pad's normally behind. The pad normally sits behind the heel bit, like it would be about there. Pretty much in the centre. Of course, from the side, this toe is about half the size of and the toe curves round as well. It curves around. Imagine that's a circle or oblong. It kind of curves to the point where that would curve around to make the oblong, kind of where it stops. The claws do not go outwards like that, because then they'd have no grip. This kind of curve a bit, and it's sort of like that, you know what I mean? It's not so much like a curve like that, really deadly round. It is like that. And if you want to, you can just add a bit of like nothing or whatever. But then the other toe tends to be significantly smaller than this one. And it would end further down, so that's how it reaches the ground. Again, it's far further forward, so that's depth perception for you. And grab that toe round. This is really rough. Again, I'm just sketching just to get the basics down so you get the general idea. I recommend looking at references. You could just look at other artists, especially for feet, because references aren't too good for feet. They're good for poses and anatomy, but not very good for feet. Look for references, maybe dogs' feet, because wolves are fluffy, you have to protect them from the harsh terrain and stuff, so you can try dog's feet or look at other artists. Not copy it, just look at how they've done tendons and stuff in the feet. Side view, of course, I'm going to kind of briefly discuss this, but I normally start with, oh god, lag. I normally start with, oh, dear. I put that kind of shape, and I'll curve it. I'll bring the kind of separation between two middle toes a bit further this way, not in the middle, a bit towards one side, and I'll curve it around like that. Then I'll curve it around again, and I'll curve it around again. That's kind of the angle of your foot. So then you kind of twist that around, curve that one around. Don't go all the way around for this one. Don't join it up with that line because it's good more depth perception. And then this one, curve it round. Just that round and bring that back because that's obviously where the 4 points is. Bring that round. And then this bit you just go, right, you can get away with bringing that one actually. You bring that up, curve that round. I bring the tendons up, like that far. Toes, you can't really tell so much when they're facing this way that the toes point in the middle, but try and point the toes. For the paws, the paw pads, bring it up a little bit this side, and then kind of bring it around like that. I wouldn't really bring it up and then curve like that, because it's not too right. But don't obviously bring it to the middle and then curve, because the toe would look like paw pads facing one direction, like that, and the toe itself would be facing that way. It wouldn't make any sense. So just think about that when drawing it. And again, claw, curve it round, bring it forward, and then look underneath. And yeah, it's a really bad paw. As I say, it's a lot of trial and error. Nothing I draw is ever just purely sketched out and right straight away. Some artists are, and I envy them because they're so awesome source. But yeah, I hope this tutorial with paws and joints has helped somewhat, and please excuse my very badly deformed sketch of a wolf at the beginning, but it was basically to show you the web, the legs joints, the head positioning that must do right. But you've got the general idea, so yeah. If you want any more tutorials making by me, just drop me a note in DeviantArt or send me a personal message on here, and I shall get back to you ASAP. So yeah, bye bye peeps.